Hi everyone, this is Elena of the Witches Box, and I'm here today with another episode of Witch Booktube. And today's book is a book that we sent out as half of the bundle that we sent out for our Witches book subscription box for January. And the book is The Noble Art by Tiffany Lazic. This is the second time that we have featured one of Tiffany's books. This is her second book that she's ever written. We put her first book in one of our boxes. I believe it was like December of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a moment really quick to just look at the gorgeousness of the cover, but also this is a fatty. This is like one of those deep, juicy books that you just want to dive into forever. And I want to point out, because I will be bringing up this other book in this video, that this is the cover of the first book. Just so beautiful. This is another really big chunk monkey. So let me read her bio and let me just dive in. This book is phenomenal. Tiffany Lazic is a spiritual psychotherapist with nearly 20 years of experience in transpersonal psychology. She trained at the Transformational Arts College of Spiritual and Holistic Training, where she also teaches. Tiffany is an international presenter and keynote speaker and the owner of the Hive and Grove Center for Holistic Wellness, with a private therapy practice offering individual, couples, and group therapy. She has also developed two highly regarded self-development programs. Visit her at www.hiveandgrove.ca. Let me read to you the table of contents to give you an idea of what's in the book, and then let's get into the book. Both of these books go in the cycles of the season. So we have I think 8 parts to this book that go through each season of the year, right? So you've got all the cycles. So part 1 is cycle 1, December 21st through January 31st. And the phase or the work of this time of the year is called From Risk to Release. So chapter 1 is Yule and the Divine Child. Chapter 2 is The Shadow Trap of Addiction. Chapter 3 is The Light of the True Essence. Chapter 4, Journey to Encounter the Dragon Meditation. 5, The Hermetic Concept of Universal Law of Contemplation. Chapter 6 is Welcome the Divine Child Ritual. Chapter 7, Be Excellent to Yourself. Part 2 is Cycle 2, which is February 1st through March 14th. And this is the Narcissist Empath Spectrum. This is big work, you guys. I'll keep going, but you'll know this is really big work. Chapter 8 is Imbolc and the Inner Child. Chapter 9 is The Shadow Face of Codependency. Chapter 10, The Light of Non-Duality. Chapter 11, Journey to Meet Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon Meditation. Chapter 12, The Hermetic Principle of Gender Contemplation. Chapter 13, Cleansing and Purification Ritual. Chapter 14, Love is the Highest Law. And then we've got part 3, which is cycle 3, March 22nd through May 2nd. The theme of this is New Paths to Dispute Resolution. Chapter 15, Ostara and the Celebration of Life. Chapter 16, The Shadow of the Enemy at the Gate. Chapter 17, The Light of Boundaries. Chapter 18, Journey to Encounter Your Personal Power Animals Meditation. Chapter 19, The Hermetic Principle of Cause and Effect Contemplation. Chapter 20, Planting the Seed of Intention Ritual. Chapter 21, You Are Whole Within. Part 4 is Cycle 4, which is May 3rd through June 13th. Fanning Your Spark into Flame is the theme. Chapter 22 is Beltane and the Passion for Life. 23 is The Wounded Heart's Shadow. 24 is The Light Heart's Gift. Chapter 25 is Journey to Honor the World Tree Meditation. Chapter 26 is The Hermetic Principle of Rhythm Contemplation. Chapter 27 is Weaving Passion Ritual. And Chapter 28 is Honor Diversity. Part 5, which is Cycle 5, is June 21st through August 1st. Chapter 29 is Litha and the Inner Adult. Chapter 30 is The Shadow Mask of Subpersonalities. 31 is The Light of Archetypes. 32 is Creating a Mandala Prayer Bundle Meditation. 33 is a Hermetic Principle of Polarity Contemplation. 34 is Honoring Self Ritual. And 35 is Walk Your Talk. Part 6 is Cycle 6, which is August 2nd through September 12th. The Cultivation of Resilience. This is coming up a lot, resilience. 36 is Lunisad and Life's Harvest. 37 is The Shadow of Soul Debris. 38 is The Lightness of Soul Decluttering. 39 is Weird Walking Meditation. 40 is The Hermetic Principle of Vibration Contemplation. 41 is Illumined Vision Ritual. 42 is Gaze Upon Earth with Clarity of Light. Part 7 is Cycle 7, September 20th through October 31st. From Wounded to Wonder. Chapter 43 is Mabon and the Higher Self. 44 is The Shadow of the Wounded Healer. 45 is The Light of the Wonder Healer. 46 is The Bridge Between the Worlds Meditation. 47, The Hermetic Principle of Correspondence Contemplation. 48, The Golden Gratitude Ritual. 49, Practice Gratitude and Acts of Thankful Appreciation. Part 8 is Cycle 8, which is November 1st through December 12th. From Despair to Transmutation. 50 is Samhain and the 0 point. 51 is The Shadow Fear of the Darker Specter. 52 is The Lightness of Being. 53 is Resting in the Cosmic Egg Meditation. 54 is The Hermetic Principle of Mentalism Contemplation. 55, Embraced by the Dark Ritual. 56, We Are All Part of the All. Part 9 is The Noble Art in Practice. Honey Energy Healing for Practitioners. So chapter 57 is Session Considerations and Ethics. 58 is Pre-Session Assessment. 59 is Scripts for Honey Energy Healing Sessions. 60 is Honey Harmonics. There's a conclusion that's called The Sweet Song of the Self. And then you've got a couple of appendices, so I'll read those to you. Appendix A is Chart of Cycle Correspondences. Appendix B is Cheat Sheets for Honey Energy Healing Sessions. Appendix C is Sample Honey Practitioner Session Note Sheets. Appendix D is Ritual Preparation. Appendix E is Steps for a 3-armed Bridget Cross. Appendix F is Steps for Branch Weaving. And Appendix G is Steps for God's Eye Weaving. And then there's a bibliography. I did not test this out, but I'm going to do it right now. Oh my gosh, there's no index. I said this during our live gathering with the rest of the group that gathered for the live Witches Book Coven gathering for this book bundle. That happened at the end of January. I know that I said this in December of 2022 when we had Tiffany Lazic join us for that month's reading at the end of the month. The work that she's pulling through is extraordinary. And I feel like there are definitely a handful of authors out there in our community that are putting books of this caliber out there. And I think that I don't know if we need more per se, because not everyone can do this work and not everyone should do this work, but this is the deep-rooted work of a witch. This is the deep-rooted work of healing. This is the deep-rooted work of self-facing and really being responsible for our own spiritual and psychological unfolding and journey. And it's enough to say, yeah, go to therapy, but books like this really provide a really gorgeous, intricate, super detailed guide along the journey for us to do our shadow work, to do our healing work, to really do the work of self-facing and learning about who we are and why we are who we are and how to be responsible for that in a way that continues to facilitate our healing and unfolding. This is a book that every witch should have and should work with. And I can't even say enough about it. What I'm really blown away by is that Tiffany has created a very multi-layered system of doing this work that she set the groundwork for in this book. And this is like the groundwork, and then this is the practice in a lot of ways, although this is also a book that you can go, and I've already done a video on this, so we'll link to this at the end of this video. You can get the review and my thoughts on this book in that other video. There was a lot of questions about, oh gosh, I got this book from you and I haven't read the first book. Am I behind? Am I missing out? And no, you can be self-sustained with what she has written in this book. This book does make reference to the honey method, or the honey method, and the honey method is described in detail here. But this is walking you through the process. This is just like the bones of what the work is, and this is walking you through the process. Just be in the process. There are a couple of things. This is not necessarily a book that you would read through all the way in one sitting. It's not designed that way. It is too much to do that way. This is the kind of book that what I recommend, and I believe that she recommends this as well. Read the introduction, read the parts where it's like, how do you work with this book? And then immediately go to the season that you're in. So right now we happen to be now we're in cycle 2 because we're between February 1st and March 14th. Just go straight there. Just go straight there. If you feel a little lost, then go back to the one before it. But really, just go straight there, dive into the work, and do the work. I honestly feel that in order to really lead a potent and enriched witch life, You really need to have a deep, intimate relationship with who you are, why you are, and have practices set in place to tend to your wounds. Tend to your wounds. Books like this help you. They help mitigate the relationship between you and your shadow, how to work with your shadow, how to engage your shadow, how to embrace your shadow, and then how to create integration for yourself so you're not driven by the unconscious all the time. You're not driven by your triggers. You're not driven by your constant reactions. You are now more fully rooted in who you are, more fully integrated, so that you can then interact with your world in a way that's responsive and responsible, as opposed to the constant projections and reactions that we're throwing at each other everywhere we go to create nothing but harmful and damaging noise for each other. This is important work. I cannot speak more highly about the importance of the work that she's doing, the importance of the books that she's created. You don't need to read the first one to do this work, but I would definitely, if you don't have the great work, get the great work, get the noble art. You've got work here that can take you through an entire year and probably over and over again, because there's just so much. It is so rich and so deep. I still can't get my brain around how she's pulled through and channeled this work. It's a must. You have to have this book. You need to do this work. Do the work. A witch's psychological foundation, I think, is incredibly important. It's just as important as your magical practice. It is an integral part of your magical practice. The more clear you are about who you are, the more aware you are about how to tend to your wounds and how to mitigate the parts of us and the parts of you that are driven by the unconscious shadow, the more we are empowered to create the life that we're really wanting to create for ourselves, and the more we're empowered to engage life in a clear and responsive and responsible way that isn't perpetuating more of the same drama, that isn't perpetuating more of the same wounding because we're just lashing and flailing. This is really deeply, deeply important work. I can't thank Tiffany enough for having pulled this work through. I think this is wholly channeling at this point because it's just so rich and multi-layered and genius. And because we are at the very beginning of this year, it's a perfect time to get a book like this and just dedicate that year to working through the entire thing. It will guide you all the way through. You don't have to add a single other practice to your work. It's all here. It's all here. Get the book. I say that often. I actually don't say that to every book that I put out there, but what she's doing here is exquisite. And I think that it is a path of deep, deep healing and deep empowering and deep empowerment for witches that is necessary. It is necessary. You cannot go through your entire life ignoring this work. This work is the key to your liberation. It's the key to your healing. It's the key to really living an empowered, enriched, and liberated witchcraft life. I don't say that lightly. I don't. And so I know I'm getting a little serious, but this is important work. So the books are amazing. The noble art is amazing. This was part of the 2-book selection that we had for the January book box. We have a sexy, deep, rich, just amazing book selection list for this entire year. If you're not part of our book subscription, definitely get in on that because there are just some really thrilling books being published right now. I know that in the past I've dipped into older books and new books, but for the next few months, there's just a series of brand new books that are out that are really very exciting and very enriching that I'm thrilled to be sharing with all of you. So if you haven't subscribed, do that. Do subscribe to the book subscription because it is really at the heart of what I say over and over and over again. An educated witch is an empowered witch. An educated witch is a powerful witch. We need to learn these things and we need to apply them to our inner life and our witchcraft path. So the noble art, link to the book will be down below. Thank you so much, Tiffany. It's gorgeous work. It's extraordinary. And I'm so excited to have them. I was walking around my office just as a side note before I close out this video, and I wanted to get this book to show it to you because even though I've already done a review on it, I wanted to show because there were questions about if I haven't done this. I already said this. If I haven't done this book, should I do the new book? Yes, you can, but I wanted to share it with you. In any case, what I was doing is I was looking for other things. And I was walking around with this osmosis. I just want to just swim and dive and sleep and be in these books because there's just so much. They're keys to liberation in a really deep and profound psychological and emotional way. We are all walking around traumatized by many, many, many things. And to the extent that we don't tend responsibly to our own wounds is the extent to which we keep perpetuating that damage in the world. So this is the work that I really think we should all be doing. So like that. I will see you all next week. Thank you for listening. And again, if you've read this book, if you're doing this work, I'd love to hear from you, and you can go ahead and share that down below, and we will see each other soon. Bye.